here we have said what is productivity. It is the ratio of output by input. How much have you put? Like with the same input, you can
Sorry,
make, yes,
sorry, ma'am.
what, uh, like we were talking about what are our resources, labor, capital, or any other resource which we have. So we put this resource to get certain output, whatever is our objective, whether we are producing some product or giving some service. Everything you need resources. Then the resource, the product or the service which you have got from the input. So that is the output, the ratio between the output and the input. That is productivity. With the same input, you can have more output or less output. Like for example, maybe somebody his study hour, he or she is studying for 4 hours per day. That is their input, but the
Yes,
result of one is much better than the other one. So naturally, the productivity, the one who is getting a better result is more.
yes, ma'am.
It is a ratio, but how much you are getting from the same input. So maybe if I keep input constant, but the output is varying. The more output, whoever is getting the best output is the highest in the productivity level. So that we should understand how we should improve this output. Then only our productivity will increase. And productivity will increase, that means whatever you are doing, whether you are doing any service or whether you are giving some product or giving a product, there will be more of that thing. And naturally, that will also increase your profit. The more product you can, from the same input, somebody else is making much more product than whatever you are making. So naturally, the productivity of that person is more than yours. In this competitive world, like everybody is trying to get the best output from the same input. In other words, we can say productivity refers to the physical relationship between the quantity produced, that is output, and the quantity of resources used in the course of production, input. It is the ratio between the output of goods and services and the input of resources consumed in the process of production. So we can see if how this the ratio between input and output is going to affect our whole operations, and our productivity will tell us what will be our profit, how we can be number one in the race. See, everybody is trying to do, you have to do whatever resources you have to are there. That is, we have so many management techniques to improve this productivity and how to use this resources effectively, not wasting it. Wasting means your input is not giving the desired result. It is being wasted. It is not being converted into the output. So that will add to the cost of the product, which will be detrimental to your profit. Naturally, your cost will go up because you have wasted so much money. Where will you have to get it out from the same product? So your product will be expensive than the other your competitors, and you will be left behind in the race. So it is very important to see what is your productivity, what is your ratio between your output and input. Output implies total production, while input means land, labor, capital, management, etc. Productivity measures the efficiency of the production system. Naturally, if you from the same input, if you are producing more than your competitors, both of you say, as I said, both are giving 4 hours per day for their studies, but the result of one is much better than the other. That means from the same input, the productivity of the one who is getting better result is more. So how efficiently you have used your that time, 4 hours, whether you have really concentrated on the subject which you are studying, or your mind has just wandered away, you are not able to grasp the meaning of the subject. So all these things, how efficiently have you used that 4 hours? Productivity measures the efficiency of the production system. The efficiency with which resources are utilized is called productive efficiency. Higher productivity means producing more than a given amount of inputs, or producing a given amount with lesser inputs. Maybe if you are not able, but with lesser input, but you have produced the same amount, then also your productivity is more. It is the ratio. So you have to see to it this is a very good ratio. Generally, it is less than 1. Whatever you are producing, if it is less than whatever you are inputting, then it is less than 1. If you are producing more than what you are inputting, maybe you have converted both your input and output into a measurable quantity like money. Then if it is output is more than input, then it is more than 1. If it is less than input, then it is less than 1. So you have to see to it that it is more than 1. This concept will be applied anywhere, whether the organization, whether you are working in a small organization or a medium organization or large, individual, private, your own individual life, everywhere. The productivity, whatever you are doing for something. You are studying, you are earning somewhere, you are running a family, you are running a business, whatever you are doing, you are trying to increase your productivity. With whatever efforts, you are trying to do something. Like suppose if you are running a family also, then whatever input you are doing, the time of you spend with your children, or the time of you give to your family, or the work you do for your family, so what do you expect? If it is more than whatever you are giving, then naturally your family is doing very well. Similarly, in your organization also, we are putting some input to produce that output. So how efficiently we are doing it? So your uh, whole objective is to increase this productivity, because the input is limited. There is a constraint on any input. It is not unlimited. Because see, for example, in operations management, there is a whole concept of operations research, which is the mathematical way of measuring the output. So what over here, what you do is, just one second. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am. Yes,
Huh?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So suppose like in operations management, what we do is, suppose Z is your profit. You are producing, I'm taking just two products, X1.
Ma'am, the screen is not showing. It's just slide 3 and is showing in the screen.
Just one second.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
So actually, I won't be able to write in this. Just one second. I'll first finish writing and then I'll show it to you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you say it now?
Yes, ma'am.
See, suppose you are producing two things, X1 and X2, or A or B, two things. Like, for example, things which are using common resources. For example, if you are making, say, chairs and tables, chairs also will require wood. They'll require some kind of skills like a carpenter's skill. I'm using only two resources to make it simple. So suppose I'm producing X1 quantities of chairs and X2 quantities of tables. Both are requiring two materials, that is wood and manpower. Just to make it, it will require more than two resources, but just to make it simple, I'm using only two resources, that is manpower and the material. So what will be the profit which you will be making? Suppose you are making X1 chairs and cost of one chair is C1. So total will be X1 into C1. Similarly, if you are making X2 tables and cost of one of the price of one table is C2, then the total price of profit, say here, if I take profit, so profit of one table is C2. The total profit will be X2 into C2, isn't it?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
your objective is to make this maximum. Okay?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
you want to maximize the profit. Suppose it was cost, then I would have gone for minimization. It is same thing. Either you are maximizing the profit, you are minimizing the cost. So over here, this is your objective, to maximize Z. Okay, this is to maximize Z, which is the profit. X1 is the number of chairs you are making, X2 is the number of tables you are making, and C1 is the profit on one chair, and C2 is the profit of one table. The total profit is X1 into C1 plus X2 into C2, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
But it will be under certain constraint. Everything has a limit to it. The number of resources which you have. Over here, the resources are two. That is the amount of wood you have and the amount of manpower you have. I'm taking only two resources, manpower and
Material.
material. So suppose to make one chair, you require A11. I'm taking A11 because it is in matrix form.
Okay, ma'am.
The first row, first column, A11, IJ. It is I is row and J is column. So here it is first column, first. So you are, for making one chair, you are using A11. Say it is over here, first I take material. And to make one table, you require A12. That is the number of material is A12. But there is a constraint on the material. You don't have more than B1. The maximum which you can use is B1. So what will be? It will be less than equal to B1, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Either you can use the total material or maybe something will be left. Okay? Because see, you cannot go beyond B1. You don't have the material. There is a constraint. Similarly for the manpower hour, the manpower hour. Suppose for making one chair, you need A21. This is the second row and first, second column and first row. A21, X1 plus A22, second row, second column. And there is a constraint on that. You don't have more than B2 hours of man hour. So it will be, has to be less than equal to, and both X1 and X2 should be either 0 or it should be more than 0. You cannot produce something negative, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You cannot prove something manufactured. You cannot make minus chair or minus table. It can be 0. You don't produce. So it has to be more than or equal to 0. Under this constraint, there is a technique for finding the value of X1 and X2. There will be numerical value for C1, C2, A11, A12, that will be given to. you find out what will be the maximum value of Z. That is, maximum Z is profit. So that is what is productivity. How you can use under all these constraints, how you can get the maximum profit. So that is where management comes. If you don't have management, you have no constraint on your resources. There's no question of management. There's unlimited. जितना यूज करना करो, फेंकना फेंको, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? ऐसा तो होता नहीं लाइफ में. देयर इज कांस्टेंट एवरीवेयर. यू हैव टू सी. जैसे हिंदी में भी हम लोग कहते हैं ना, जितना चादर है उतना ही पैर फैलाओ. तो चादर इज व्हाट? योर रिसोर्स. अकॉर्डिंग टू योर रिसोर्स यू विल हैव टू वर्क. तो दैट इज व्हाट इज प्रोडक्टिविटी. आपका क्या इनपुट है, उससे आप मैक्सिमम कितना आउटपुट निकाल सकते हैं. So that is productivity. So you use different management models, concepts, mathematical and statistical models to find out the productivity level, which should be to maximize your profit. क्योंकि तुम्हारा तो your goal is that to maximize your profit and minimize your cost. Then only you will be in the competition. क्योंकि अब तो competition day to day it is increasing with so much new technology coming in. Why do we are using better technology today? Today, like for example, you take online classes because the technology is available. So we're making maximum use of it. Even if you are not on the same place, we can still explain things to each other and get our work done. जैसे कोविड में तो ये बहुत जरूरी हो गया था. When physical contacts could not be done because of the things like COVID, which would have affected both the person who was teaching as well the person who was learning the course. So sometimes, like through certain things, we are compelled to develop new models. For example, whatever models which are using today, it was developed during Second World War. Because during Second World War, what had happened, there were two forces. One was the Allied fields, and the other one was the one with the Germany and all, Germany, Russia and all. And they had more resources than the Allied fields. That was Britain and US. But these people developed this operations research and they won the war. So you can see how you can use your resources judiciously to win the situation. And these hard times show you the way to use your resources judiciously to win a situation. So we use different mathematical and statistical modeling to find out how to maximize your profit and minimize your loss. So this is not part of your, but I'm just telling you there's a technique called operations research where you can maximize if you have the figure. And that is where, like for example, by using computers, there are certain, if you have certain variables, then only you can be able to do a very good job. For example, if you're using computerization, first of all, it helps you even if the data is numerous. Volume, then speed. Like for example, what we can do manually, a computer can do it in a much exponentially better speed. So first of all, volume. Second is your speed. Third is there are number of interacting variables which you can handle simultaneously, which is very difficult to, even if you know the basics. Anyway, even if you are using computerization, you have to know the basic. Whether you're going to add, whether you're going to subtract. See, there are 4 mathematical computation, but how to use it, where to use it, that you have to know. The basic you have to know. And then only, so even if you have number, like over here, I'm doing it manually, so I'm only taking 2 variables, x1 and x2. If I'm using a computer model, I can this can be n n number of variables I can take, but it has to be finite. I cannot take infinite things. And finite, and then also I can find out what will be my maximum profit. Then you have to have exact input. Like it is said, garbage in, garbage out. You have to have exact input. And that is very much available when you are producing some product. You know exactly what will be its size, what will be its cost. All these things you have to know exactly. Then only you will get a good result. If you have a very vague idea, maybe you can get an approximation, or you can take analyze like this: what if, suppose, what if the prices increases, then what will be the profit? What if the I save, even say point, suppose I'm producing uh, a very high quantity of products, and each product I save 0.001, then in total how much will I save? Because without compromising on the quality of the product, in a very small saving also I can do. With the same quality, I can say reduce the price. So all these things I can do, but I have to have a exact input. Then I can expect accurate. And then repetitiveness, like what happens in our day-to-day life. Even I tell you to write a sentence, same sentence 100 times, I mean, let's don't say 100 times, 10 times also. After one or two sentences, because of our psychological nature, we'll start making mistakes. We'll get bored of it and we'll start making it. But computer will not do that. Even if you increase the number of n from 10 to 100 or 1000, it can keep on doing the same operation on and on over again. So repetitiveness. So these are the things which help us to increase our productivity. So technology plays a very vast role in increasing the productivity. For example, when we'll do the plant location, we will see that initially the plants were located, especially heavy engineering plants were located where raw materials were available. But now, even if the raw materials are being exported from somewhere else, but other inputs like electricity, wages, comfort for the workers, all these things are much more better in other place where raw material is not available. But even there, heavy engineering manufacturing units are being set up. So you can see how because of the technology, these things have improved. So technology plays a very major role in improving the productivity of anything, whether it is product or service. And you can see if you change the constraint, because the value of z will depend upon not only this equation, but also this equation, the constant. So if you change the constant, the value of z will change. Maybe for better or for worse, you don't know. You have to keep on changing and saying, what if this happens, what will the answer? If this happens, what will be the answer? And this, by computerization, you can do it much more faster. Doing it manually will take a lot of time, and the chances of making mistakes will also increase. So we can see what you read.
Yes, ma'am. Productivity equals to output in a period of time upon input in the same period of time.
What are input?
Inputs are land, workforce, material, facilities, capital, technology, equipments, and tools. Output and input: productivity, production system, transformation, process, or value addition. Output is good and services, and then end to consumer.
So this is the system concept of productivity. It works as a system. Everything is, your final objective is to satisfy this customer. what the customer wants, when the customer wants, at what price the customer wants. So all these things you have to manage all these variables in an interrelated way so that you will be able to satisfy this end customer.
Yes, ma'am.
Read it.
Productivity factories affecting productivity. Productivity is the outcome of several factory. These
Factors.
factors.
Hmm.
These factors are so interrelated that it is difficult to identify the effect of any one factor on productivity. These factors may broadly as divided as follow. First, human nature and human behavior are the most significant determinant of productivity. Human factors may further be classified into two categories as given below. Ability to work. Productivity of an organization depends upon the competence and caliber of its people. Both workers and manager ability to work is governed by education, training, experience, aptitude, etc. of the employees. Willingness to work, motivation and morale of people is the second important group of human factor that determine productivity. Wage incentive schemes, labor participation in management, communication system, informal group relations, promotion policies, union management relation, quality of leadership, etc., are the main factors governing employees' willingness to work. Working conditions like working hours, sen- sensations,
Sanitation.
sanitation, ventilation, schools, clubs, libraries, subsidized canteen, company transport, etc., also influence the motivation and morale of employees.
So you can see to increase the productivity, there are several factors. No one factor you can pinpoint because of this productivity. You have to look at each and every factor which is affecting productivity. First of all, the most important is the human factor,
Human.
because finally the whole organization depends upon its human factor. How they'll be utilizing even the technology. The technology in itself won't be helping you. It is how you utilize the technology. It should be for the benefit of the humankind, for the benefit of the whole universe. Not like if it is adversely affecting the population, then you have to see and how you can reorganize it, how you can use it for the benefit of the mankind. For example, we have gone through that stage when the banks were, all the works were done manually. Then gradually all the it was computerized. At that time there was a lot of hue and cry from the people working in the banks. They thought that their jobs will be affected, but no, it was not. The way it was handled, the jobs were not affected. The working also hours also increased. Initially, it was only up till 2 o'clock. Now it is up till 4 o'clock. So it has beneficially affected not only and their work has also the pressure which they had to go through has also decreased. Before that, during the closing hour of the banking, sometimes during especially in March and September, yearly and half yearly closing, they used to work late at night. But now because of computerization, that is not there. They can finish their work during the working hour itself. So the workers have, because but they were trained, they were given training at various levels, whatever their level was, whether they were in the mid level or the lowest level or the highest level, according to the needs and the requirements, trainings were given to the workers, and gradually it was from the manual system, it has been converted. So it has been shown that the technology is not always detrimental to the, it is beneficial to the people who are working in it and also to the people who will be using it. So it proved to be beneficial both for the bank employees and also to the consumers are using the banking services. Now you have almost 24/7 banking hours because of technology. It is not that every time you have to go to the bank. ATM are there. You can do transfer through your mobile phones, things like that. So many facilities have come up. I don't deny that even number of frauds have increased. So there will always be there, because these are the human factors. There will always be some human factors who will be misutilizing this. So we have to keep on working towards a way to minimize these things. See, we cannot eliminate it, but our objective should be to minimize all the negative things. So ability to work, ability to, how will that they'll be able to work in that such an, they should have training, they should have education, the aptitude, the experience. Like some people have aptitude for engineering, some people have aptitude for medicine, some people are good in mathematics, some people are good in creative work. So it is according to their aptitude, their training, their experience, they should be employed in such a way that they are able to work in that atmosphere. Everybody is not made to work as a software engineer. Software, like people say, even data processing people call them software engineers, and people who are developing the software is also known as software engineers. Even there you have several categories. Everybody don't have the same ability and the experience and the training. So we have to see that what type of work they'll be doing, what type of education they need, what type of training they require. And since it is a dynamic field, constant training to the work should be given, so that they get work used to working in good and better technological environment. Now artificial intelligence has come in, so you need special training to handle those things. So it is the ability to work and the willingness to work. Suppose you have the ability but you don't feel like working, what will happen? What is the use? You have to see if they are willing to work. So suitable conditions should be created. Like they should be given wage incentives. Then there should be uh, in the management also, the people from the lower category should have a say if they feel these things, because they have the operational knowledge. So they should be able to convey it to the seniors how these things can be done. That way you feel as if you belong to the organization. That is very essential, to make them feel that they belong to the organization, or organization belongs to them. So it is the duty of the management to see that the people get the right facilities, so that they are willing to work and give their best to the organization. So both the ability to work and the willingness to work, these two factors affect the most in increasing the productivity of any organization. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you can say technology. See, technology is there to help us, but it is we are going to utilize that technology. So it is first the human who have to embrace this technology and use it for the beneficiary to the mankind. It should not be detrimental to the progress of the mankind. Should be for the betterment of the mankind. Read this.
Yes, ma'am. Technological factors exercise significant influence on the level of productivity. The main technological factors are as follow. First is size and capacity of plant. Second, product design and standardization. Third is timely supply of material and fuel. The fourth is rationalization and automation measures. And sixth is repair and maintenance.
See, there are so many things in technology also we have to take into. What should be the size of my plant? What should be the capacity? How much should I be able to produce it? Because you have different sizes of plants. Some are medium, some are small, some are large. So you have to see for what purpose you are going to use that plant. What should be the size of the plant? Where should it be located so that the maximum number of people are benefited from the product of that plant? Then what should be the design of the product? What standardization is required? Because see, every market will not require the same standardization. That will, so it depends upon what is the demand, how many people are there in demand group. Some people will be in better might be demanding something. So you have to have a variation in the product also, so that each and every category, and you have to see what should be the variability in the product design. All these things, depending upon the market size, the demand of the market, the variability in the market, that should match the variability and the product which are being produced by the organization. Then naturally you won't be able to produce and supply the market if you don't get the right input at the right time, at the right quality and the right price. Then only you'll be able to produce it and send it to the consumers, because they are the final goal. They are to be satisfied, both material and fuel, because some things require more than fuel than the others, but some sort of energy is required to produce anything. Then rationalization and automation measures, how much automation, then depends upon the composition of the your workforce, whether you have the workforce where they'll be more comfortable in more automation. Maybe it is some where you might need more labor, because labor is easily available, like for example an Indian market and an American market. Over there the population is much less than ours, and so they go in for more automation. For us, if we go for more automation, what will happen? So many people will not get jobs. So final objective is to help the mankind. It is just not to produce things. So you have to take all these things into consideration: where you are producing, to whom you will be producing it to, what are their requirements, what are their demand. Then repairs and maintenance, because see, whatever you have produced or today, you are using the same machines, main setup over the period of time, which will deteriorate with time. So you have to keep on maintaining them, and wherever repair is required, timely, adequate repairment should be there. For example, what happened now, what happened at Delhi Airport Terminal 1? One roof collapsed. And now they are blaming each other. One is saying it was built in UPA time, other is saying so it is the fault of both who had produced it and also who had maintained it. Like suppose if it was not of a good quality, then they should have maintained it or done something about it, so that it became usable and concrete for the. And what happened? Final loss was to the people who were either injured, or one person died only. So we have to be very particular about repairs and maintenance, because that is the one which is going to affect our life, not only the quality and the of the product and the timeliness of the product, but even the quality of our life. So repairs and maintenance are very, very important part of any organization, whatever where you're doing. Even in our own house, we we take care of all our gadgets, we take care of all our things which you are using in our day-to-day life. So their maintenance is there. If some repair work is required, that is done. So this is also a very important part of any organization. Blaming each other will not solve the problem. A person who has died will not come back. So it is our duty to see that the proper maintenance and repair of the different equipments used anywhere, wherever you are working, whether you are working in your own house or whether you are working in an office, whether you are working in a manufacturing unit or whether you are working in a service station, some equipment is always required, and proper maintenance and repair of that equipment is required so that the level of production is maintained, that timeliness is maintained. Then in technology, just read it.
Production planning control, plan layout and location, material handling system, inspection and quality control, machinery and equipment used, research and development, inventory control, reduction and utilization of waste and scrap, etc.
So this in also comes under technology, because you have to plan what you are going to produce, how much you are going to produce. Because see, management starts with planning. And we see even our day-to-day life, you do proper planning. Naturally, whatever is your objective, it will be much better than if you have started with an unplanned way, haphazard way, ad hoc manner. So, and if you do the planning, then you have to keep on monitoring whether things are going along the way you had planned. And through that only you can do control. That is, if you're doing monitoring, then you can see where it has deviated from the plan. So immediate action can be taken and things will become under control. So production planning and control is very important to maintain the quality and the quantity which is being produced. Then where will be your plant located? Which will be the best place to locate your plant? What the layout? What should when we'll do this in detail, we'll study there are various types of layout, mainly three types. One is your product layout, another is your plant process layout, and third one is your mixed layout. Then it's like, suppose if you can have something which it is the layout is the place where it is, for example, a bridge. You have to bring in the equipments to the place where the bridge is being built. You cannot make the bridge in a factory and then come and locate it. It cannot be done. So it depends upon the product, what type of product you are going to produce. Like suppose if I'm making a mobile, then these are manufactured in a manufacturing unit and then sold in the market. Even if you're making, it can be small scale, it can be medium scale, or it can be large scale. For example, if you're manufacturing vehicles, it will be a large scale. If we are manufacturing engines, like it will be a large scale. So all these things, then where it should be located, from where it can be, the product can be taken easily to the market. It is getting all the inputs required for its production easily. You don't have to the power supply, it is getting the water supply, it is getting all these things. Then material handling system, because especially in a heavy engineering manufacturing unit, there are so many equipments required to handle the materials being supplied from one place to another. So you need different types. That also we'll be doing in detail later on. Material, there are several types of, some materials handling system are for logistics work, some are for hauling work, some for different type of work you need different types of material handling system. So what are required? So you, in the beginning when you are doing the production planning, you have to also see the material handling, what type of materials you will be using, what type of handling system you will be requiring. All this has to be planned meticulously so that you don't have any problem when the actual work is going on. Then inspection and quality control. You have to keep on inspecting things which are being, so that you can control the quality. Once the quality is out of control, or you have produced a bad quality, if you are not doing the check, that is why monitoring is very important. If you have not done the inspection and quality control, the final, if the product is bad, then what can you do about it? What type of machinery you'll be using, what type of equipment you'll be using, all these things has to be meticulously planned and brought in before the operation actually starts. Then the research and development, because this is a dynamic field. You do research, you make make discoveries, you invent things so that the same thing can done in a much better way with the same input. The productivity will increase because there will be more output. Then inventory control. Inventory control is important because see, when things are not being used, it is just lying there. So your capital is locked up. So you want to minimize that. And you also want to see the market demand is being satisfied in time. If it is more, you're producing more than what the market is demanding, it will go waste. If you are producing less than what the market is demanding, then there will be opportunity loss. In both the cases, there will be loss. One, it will be actual loss. In another, it will be opportunity loss. So you have to see, you have to keep the inventory in such a position that these two things, the opportunity loss as well as the actual loss, is minimized. Then how you can use the waste and the scrap? See, today our waste management has become so bad that so many area land area landlocked without because of this waste. Look at nature. It has designed itself in such a way the waste of one system becomes the output of one system becomes the input of another system. So if we can do that, our wastage is and scraps. It is not that we are not working towards that. We are using so many things. The scrap of one unit can be used as something to produce something good by the other unit. But at the same time, much more effort is required in this field that we reduce waste and scrap. Then managerial, read it.
Managerial, the competence and the attitudes of manager have an important bearing on productivity. In many organizations, productivity is low despite latest technology and trained manpower. This is due to insufficient and indifferent management component, and dedicated manager can obtain extraordinary results from ordinary people. Job performance of an employee depend on their ability and willingness to work. Management is the catalyst to create both advanced technology require knowledge workers who in turn work productivity under professionally qualified managers. No ideology can win a greater output with less efforts. It is only through sound management that optimum utilization of human and technical resources can be secured.
Hmm. So you see, manager, because in the beginning only we had said ki human resource, the willingness and the ability. So how to bring out the best in each person so they can do the best work and that will increase the productivity of that organization. That is the manager's work. That the workers who are working, they are satisfied, they are getting what are their expectations from the organization, whether it is pay, whether it is a good working, harmonious environment. If there is lot of uh, tension among the workers, naturally the productive. So it is the manager to see that a very good working environment is being given to the workers. If suppose because of extreme heat, if air conditioning is being provided, whether proper refreshment at certain intervals is provided to the workers, so they are comfortable and they are willing to work and give their best to the organization. So manager has to make the special role to motivate and actually get out the best from the workers in a way that they don't feel the stress, not in a stressful environment. Willingness. Like when we were very small, we were told about a story. Like our teachers told us about a story. It is a very famous story, American story, that there was a boy. He was an orphan. He was being brought up by his aunt, Mossy. So especially in US or in these Western countries, you don't have workers. People, the small works, they do it themselves. So the aunt wanted the gate of their house to be painted, and it was Sunday morning, and naturally it was a holiday, and most of the children were going out to play. But this aunt requested her nephew to paint the gate. So naturally, he was not very willing to work, and while he was painting but what could he do? He had to compile what the aunt was telling him to do. So he was painting the gate, and his friends were passing by, and actually they were feeling, Kire, you are working, we are enjoying. So what he did, he pretended that he was enjoying his work so much that he was not even looking at his friends. So naturally, the friends were amazed, and they thought this work was more interesting than playing out. So they came and helped him. And by the end of the day, the aunt was surprised that instead of getting one coat of paint, the gate got three coats of paint, because all his friends had helped him in painting the gate. So it is the way you present. If you can enjoy what you are doing, you'll do a much better job. So it is the duty of the managers to see that they not only the workers work, but they enjoy doing what they are doing. To if you the same work, if you they a man, for example, if your mother feels every day she has to cook for you, so naturally it will be a monotonous and she will not feel like cooking for you. But she enjoys doing it, and she feels pride in serving her family members. And that is why every day she is so happy doing the same mundane work day in and day out. Similarly, in an organization also, if the workers don't enjoy doing their work, they'll feel bored with the work, the productivity will go down. So it is the duty of the managers to see that they are enjoying and they're getting all the input which will motivate to enjoy their work, and they'll stick to the organization. The problem of uh, people leaving and leaving the organization will also reduce. Next,
Natural factors such as physical, geographical, and climatical condition exert considerable influence on productivity, particularly in extractive industry. For example, productivity of labor in extreme climate, too cold or too hot, tends to be comparatively low. Natural resources like water, fuel, and minerals influence in productivity.
So even
Sure.
nature, so
Yes,
nature
ma'am.
also plays a very important role. If the climate of the places, or if it is not that, suppose it is very hot, so certain air conditioning is given to them, or it is very cold. Today, because they have worked hard for it, today most of the houses in the Western countries have temperature controlled in their house. Even if it is extreme hot or extreme cold outside, they don't feel it. So their productivity, because in a very good temperature temperature, your productivity is the maximum. If it is too cold or too hot, you don't feel like working. So if that is maintained, the productivity will rise. So if the suppose by nature it is not there, nature has not given them, then some alternative is there. If it is provided to them, then naturally the productivity of the organization will rise. Sociological.
Sociological, social customs, traditions, and institution influence attitudes towards work and job. For instance, bias on the basis of caste, religion, etc., inhibited the growth of modern industry in some countries. The joint family system affected incentive to work hard in India. Close ties with land and native places hampered stability and discipline among industrial labor.
So you can see the social conditions also help. For example, initially the people were very reluctant to leave their hometown because they were very attached to their hometown and work outside their hometown. But now things have changed. Sociologically also we are moving outwards, and that is why you'll feel today you'll find people from one area working in some other area, and the value is being appreciated where they are giving their natural ability and skill to work for them. So our sociological barriers are there, but with our attitude and effort we can minimize it. Is political.
Political law and order, stability of government, harmony between states, etc., are essential for high productivity in industry. Taxation policies of the government influence willingness to work, capital formation, modernization, and expansions of plan, etc. Industrial policy affect the size and capacity of plant. Tariff policies influences competition elimination of six and insufficient unit helps to improve productivity.
So how much government is willing to help in improving the productivity of any organization, whether it is manufacturing, with their policies, with the incentives which they give, the taxes policies, the this helps the worker to give more to the organization. Suppose there is some unit which is sick and they cannot close it, or they cannot make it more efficient, then naturally it will be a loss making unit, and it will be affecting each and every one of us. So these things, political willingness of the government helps a lot. That is why before 91 there were so many laws which were detrimental to the growth of an manufacturing or any other unit. So the new liberation policy came into existence, and our productivity improved.
Economic size of the market, banking and credit facilities, transport and communication system, etc., are important factors influencing productivity. In
Naturally,
yes, ma'am.
yes, go on.
Okay, ma'am. Internal controllable factors are considered as internal factors. These are the factors which are in control of industrial organization. External or uncontrollable factors are known as external factors, and these factors are beyond the control of individual industrial organization. Knowing the internal and external factors that affect productivity of an industrial organization give industrial engineer the intelligence they need to sort out the low performance of resources and make strategic plans for the future.
So you can see economic factors there. What is the size of the market? Naturally, if you have a big size, naturally you'll be able to produce more and earn more. Then what are the banking and the credit facilities which are available to you? Initially, banks were not that cooperative in giving facilities to different people so they could start their own work. But now things have improved. Number of government is trying to give certain financial help to the people so that they can start their own ventures, and they can try and fulfill more and more people. So these things improve the productivity of any organization, and naturally, if the organization's productivity improves, the country's productivity will improve, profitability will improve. Then there are certain internal factors which are under the control of the organization, and there are certain external factors which are beyond our control. For example, your these things like the raw material, which is not, but you can use this, see what are the constraints, how you can reduce these constraints, how to make best use of whatever you have. So knowing, only if we know them thoroughly, then only you'll be able to utilize these constraints or these productivity factors to your best advantage. So let's do the internal factors.
Internal factors, material and power machinery and plant layout, human resources, organizational and manageable availability of finance and technologically.
Technological. These are the internal factors. What material is, what power is available to you. Then external factors are economic factors, political, social, natural. We have done this in detail, but you should know what are internal factors and what internal factors means. You can control, you have a better control on them. External factors which you don't have control on them, but then you should know them and know how to utilize in the best possible way. uh, External
Availability. Okay, sorry, ma'am. External factors are economic, political, social, natural resources, and government. Availability of finance. The ambitious plan of an industrial unit to increase the productivity will the remain many dreams if adequate financial resources are not available to introduce technical improvement and give appropriate training to the workers. The greater the degree of mechanism to be introduced, the greatest is the need of capital. Capital will also be required for investment in research and development activity. Advertisement campaign better work conditions to the workers, upkeep of plants and machinery, etc.
So to increase productivity, you have to have better financial. So if you want to set up a new industry, whether finance is available through banks or other non-banking institutions, so that you'll be utilizing your innovations, your ability for doing something much more than what you are doing at present. Then everything, if you want to go for greater mechanization, computerization, investment, for all these you need finance. And if that is not availability, so that is either through the banking or the non-banking, so through government. This is an external factor. How do you get these things to improve your financial situation and thus increase the productivity of your organization?
Productivity importance. Productivity has become almost synonymous for progress. The resources of a country are generally limited. Therefore, higher productivity is essential for improving living standards and for the prosperity of a nation. Higher productivity requires elimination of waste in all forms. Higher productivity leads to economic growth and social progress. It is only by improving productivity that employees can get better wages and working conditions and more employment opportunities. Higher productivity bring lower price for consumers and higher dividend for shareholders. If improve the exports and foreign exchange reserves of a country, thus productivity is the key of prosperity.
I think this is quite clear. Productivity is synonymous to progress. If you want to progress, naturally you have to increase your productivity. See, everybody has the same 24 hours. The input is the same time, but some people are able to do much more, and some are so why? Because some are wasting, maybe just daydreaming or not doing very productive work. So naturally the productivity of each person is different. So we have to see how you use this, whatever is available to you, to in the best possible way. And this only will bring in progress.
Higher productivity is of a special significance in an developed country like India. Mass poverty and unemployment cannot be eliminated without increasing productivity in agriculture, industry, and all other areas of human activity. According to John Way Kendrick, the chief means whereby humankind can raise itself out of poverty to a condition of related material influence is by increasing productivity.
So we can see, especially like our country, Naturally, comparatively, poverty is much more here because our population is also at present we have surpassed in that. India is the most populous. We have even left China behind, which is a
Yes.
bigger country than that. But now, so and we have to see to it that all everybody is taken care of. So naturally, this can be done by intensive productivity. We cannot increase the land area, but we can intensify the productivity of the land area. We can increase the productivity. We cannot horizontally. We cannot go. We can have to go vertically.
Productivity benefits. It helps to reduce the cost of production per unit through more economical or efficient use of resources. Reduction in cost helps to improve the profits of a business. The enterprise can more successful compete in the market. The gain of higher productivity can be passed on the consumer in the form of lower price and or better quality of product. Similarly, gain of higher productivity can be shared with the workers in the form of higher wages or salaries and better working conditions. Availability of quality goods of reasonable low prices help to improve the standard of living in the country. Due to higher productivity, a firm can survive and grow better. This helps to generate more employment opportunities. A more productive enterprise can better export goods and earn valuable foreign exchange for the country. Higher productivity means better utilization of a country's resources, which helps to control uh, inf- uh, inflections in the country.
Inflation in the country. So the prices don't rise that fast. So if we it is beneficial to everyone, the poor as well as, but then there has to be a equitable distribution of this. अब ये नहीं हो कि प्रोडक्शन तो बढ़ा रहे बस उसका सारा फायदा only the rich are taking, then and poor are left behind. That should not be there. It should be equally distributed among each and every one of the country.
Productivity ways to improve productivity. It is a vital to develop a high rate of productivity because it is the foundation of the business future growth. There are many ways by which productivity can be increased. Adoptions of up-to-date technology in machines and equipment, implementing a proper system of managerial planning and control, effective time management, maintenance of work facilities in factory, standardization and automation for mass production, empower employees by providing training and environment conducive for
Conducive.
conducive for personal as well as organizational growth. Let
Mm.
workers participate in management. Provide a flexible work schedule instead of rigid working hours. Clear communication should be there between management and workers.
So if we maintain all these things, the productivity will automatically increase, not only by increasing in your technology and machine, but even managerial planning and control should. So both the technological part as the human resource part, they should work together to increase the productivity.
Productivity and improving quality. Way 1, combining the resources and production. Manager attempt to utilize the resources just described in a manner that achieves production of a low cost. They combine the various resources with the use of workstation and assembly line. A workstation is an area in which one or more employees are assigned a specific task. A workstation may require machinery and equipment as well as employee. An assembly line consists of a sequence of workstation in which each workstation is designed to cover specific phases of the production process. The production of a single product may require several workstations, with some station using employee machinery and material. Since the cost of all these resources along with the building can be sustain,
Substan-
substan
substantial.
okay. Efficient management of the production process can reduce expenses, which can convert into higher profit. Employ use building machinery and equipment to convert material into a product or service. For example, employee of printing firm use machines for typesetting, printing, and binding to produce book. Employee of general nutrition center GNC use in manufacturing plant, which is the size of four football field, to produce more than 1 lakh, sorry, 1 crore. It
One
is
lakh,
not 1 lakh
one lakh 50,000
50,000 bottles of vitamins per
per
day.
day. So you can see ki there are so many resources and you are producing something or maybe various things. So you have to utilize, you have to combine and see in which way the best, just like when I was talking about that model, mathematical model. So what we were doing, we are seeing how we can use these different things to produce the maximum profit, utilizing. So maximum profit means keep best production unit using all the resources. Maybe it is big, small, whatever resources we have. So combination of resources is very important.
Way two, selecting a site. A critical decision in production management is the selection of a site location for the factory or office. Location can significantly affect the cost of production and therefore the firm ability to compete against other firms. This is especially true for industrial firms such as Bethlehem Steel and Daimler Chrysler,
Hmm.
which require a large investment in plant and equipment.
Like you can take in, if you take Indian industry like Tata Motors or diesel locomotive, which is now known as Banaras Locomotive Works. So the how it has been, the plant location has been selected. Then it is also sometimes it is due to its nearness to the primary output, like your for the Tata or Telco at Jamshedpur, or for example, if you take diesel Banaras Locomotive Works, but to give proper employment to this eastern side of Uttar Pradesh. So you have to see what is your primary objective, because you have to satisfy each and every cater of the society. Some people need jobs, somewhere input are available. So depending upon what is your objective, how you want to select your site, and then accordingly you take the decision. And also, and so the productivity will also rise and people will also be satisfied.
Way third is selecting the design and layout. Once a site for a manufacturing plant or office is chosen, the design and layout must be determined. The design indicates the size and structure of a plant or office. The layout is the arrangement of machinery and equipment within the factory or office. The design and layout decision is directly affecting operating expenses because they determine the cost of rent, machinery, and equipment. There are many effect the firm's interest expense because they influence the amount of money that must be borrowed to purchase property or machinery.
So you know every there is some fixed cost, like for making the, so you have to see what should be your fixed cost and what should be your variable cost, so that the finally what profit you can gain from that. So everything should be done judiciously. Like for example, if you are some at some places you need process layout, where one type of process is done at one place, like a workstation, and in some way it is in a product layout where the product keeps on moving and things are being added to the product. So it depends upon what you are producing. Accordingly, you do the design and layout of the manufacturing or the processing unit. For production control.
Way four is production control. Once the plant and design have been selected, the firm can engage in production control, which involves the following. Purchasing material. Manager perform the following tasks when purchasing suppliers. First, they have selected a supplier. Second, they attempt to obtain volume discount. Third, they determine whether they delegate some production tasks to suppliers. Inventory control. Inventory control is the process of managing inventory at a level that minimize cost. It requires the management of material inventories, work in process inventories, and finished good inventories.
So once you have seen ki what should be the design and the layout of the plant, you can see ki how you have to, from where to you have to select the purchaser, who are the best purchaser with respect to the cost, the quality, the delivery time, all these things you have to see. And then to whether you can get discount on certain, suppose you buy the thing in bulk, you might get some discount in that, so you prefer that supplier to the other supplier. And sometimes certain things can be, some other person can make it, and then it can maybe some smaller part of the particular the things which you are producing, and they can, instead of you doing it, because then you have to see whether to make or buy. Make means making that small part also in your own organization, you buy it from some other supplier. So your supplier can be both for finished goods as well as for unfinished good raw materials. You have to see what should be there. Maybe everything you are not doing yourself. Some part you are buying from somewhere, some part you are manufacturing yourself, and then finally you are assembling the whole thing yourself. Then you have to see what should be your inventory control. How you, there can be three types: finished goods, work in process, and raw material. In each, what should, how much should you buy, so that your uh, finances locked up in that inventory is minimal. Yes.
Routing.
Routing.
Routing, okay. Routing is a sequence or route of tasks necessary to complete the production of a product. Raw material are commonly sent to various workstations so that they can be used as specific in the production process. A specific part of the production process is completed at each workstation. For example, the production of a bicycle may require using material to produce a bike frame at one workstation, second, assembling wheels at a second workstation, and third, packaging the frame and wheels that have been assembled at the third workstation. The routing process is productly evaluated to determine whether it can be improved to allow a faster or less expensive production process. Generally, Motors, Daimler, Chrysler, and United Postal Service have streamlined their routing process to improve production efficiency.
See, like you have to see how the thing should, like for example, if you have to get something passed through certain office, maybe you are planning to build a house for yourself. Now that has to be passed from the municipality. In municipality also, there has, it has to be passed through several offices. So now if you enter the office, suppose as you enter it, the first place is at the end of the room, the first person who has to sign. Then you have to come back to the entrance of the room to get the sign. So that will be very, it will be not a very efficient way of doing work. it should be designed, the office should be designed in such a way that the person works smoothly and gets his or her work done. Similarly, says for example, suppose you are going out for a shopping. Now you have should plan first. Where should you go first? That the minimum time is spent on routes, and it is done efficiently. It is not that haphazardly you first go to the greatest distance, then come back, then again go back. This way you will be making a lot of haphazard coverage, which will be taking your time and money. So similarly, in any organization, routing is very important. It has to be done in, because everything will not be made at one place. It has to be moved from one place to other, but it has to be moved in such a way that it is not repetitive, that it moves to the one place, then come back to the first place, then again goes to the second place, then come back to the first place. Not like that. It has to move smoothly. The routing is very important to make anything, because over here you will be making a lot of saving if routing is done properly. Yes. Scheduling.
Scheduling. Scheduling is the act of setting time period for each task in the production process. A production schedule is a plan for the time timing and volume of production tasks. For example, the production schedule for a bike may set a time of 2 hours for each frame to be assembled and 1 hour for each wheel to be assembled. Scheduling is useful because it establishes that exact amount of production that should be achieved at each workstation over a game day or a week. Therefore, each employee understands that is accepted.
Hmm.
Furthermore, scheduling allow manager to forecast how much will be produced by the end of the day, week, or a month. It a firm does not meet its production schedule, it will not be able to accommodate customer order in a timely fashion or will lose some of its customers.
So, so you have to see, plan. Naturally, to do anything, you have to do number of activities. The activity A, how much will it be, how much time it will take, so that you can finally you can predict in how many days that will be, the job will be finished, so that when the customer wants it, you can fulfill his or her demand. If proper scheduling is not done, you'll be losing customers. Your production will also be affected. So routing, scheduling, everything should be done properly. So the things produced in an efficient and effective manner. Quality control.
Quality control. Quality can be defined as the degree to which a product or service satisfy a customer's requirement or expectation. Quality relate to customer satisfaction, which
Hmm.
can have an effect on future sales and therefore on the future performance at the firm. मैम
Yes,
मैम स्लाइड आगे हो गया.
हाँ. क्वालिटी में है ना.
Yes, ma'am. Quality. Quality control.
हाँ.
मैम और आगे हो गया. मैम on 17.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, अभी ये तो हम लोग कर चुके हैं ना.
Okay, okay.
हम्म.
Yes, ma'am. This one.
हाँ. हम्म.
Well,
क्वालिटी.
okay.
हम्म.
Quality control is the process of determining whether the quality of control or a service meets the desired quality level and identify improvement, if any, that needs to be made in production process. Quality can be measured by assessing the various characteristics such as how long the product lasts, the enhanced customer satisfaction. The quality of computer may be defined by how well it works and how long it lasts. Quality may also be measured by how easy the computer it is to use, by how quickly the manufacturer repairs a computer that experience problem. All of these characteristics can affect customer satisfaction and therefore should be considered as indicators of quality.
So, तो desired quality level जो भी है, what is the demand, the need of the customer, you have to see to it that that quality is maintained. And there are several ways for each product and service. Quality characteristics will be different, but the quality measurement should be there, that the desired quality is catered to the customer. Yes.
The quality of The quality of service sold to customer must also be assessed. For example, Amazon.com produce a service of fulfilling order of books, CDs, and other product ordered over the internet by customer. Its customer access the quality of services in term of the ease with which they can send an order over the internet, whether they receive the proper order, and how quickly the product are delivered. The
Hmm.
act of monitoring and improving the quality of product and services produced in commonly referred to as total quality management (TQM), which
Hmm.
was developed by W. Edward Deming.
Hmm.
Among TQM key guidelines for improving quality are the following. First, provide manager and their employees with the education and training they need to excel in their job. Second, encourage employee to take responsibility and provide leadership. Third is encourage all employee to search the way to improve the production process.
Hmm. So it is not like not the partial. Like for example, Amazon, how easily you can order, how quick it, whether your order is delivered in time, at a proper shape, and all those things. So it is not that ठीक है ऑर्डर तो ले लिया फटाफट, बट डिलीवरी टाइम से नहीं हुआ. अच्छा डिलीवरी टाइम से हो गया तो जो सामान आया वो अच्छे कंडीशन में नहीं था. So it is not that. You have to have a total quality control. Everything should be there. Timing, the condition of the material, all these things, everything. So for this, to improve it, total quality control, you have to have what provide managers and other employees education and training. उनके पास the ability to do the work. जैसे हमने कहा ना, productivity increase करने के लिए ability as well as the willingness. So they should get the proper training and education to and the ability to do the work. The second is encourage employees to take responsibility. They should take this responsibility. ये नहीं है, accountability should be there. कि something has gone wrong, तो they should, ये नहीं कि जब सब चीज ठीक लिया तो वाहवाही लेने के लिए तो सब लोग हैं, but if something goes wrong, तो it is being passed from one person to another. That should not be there. If something has gone wrong, then there should be people who should take the responsibility and see to this that this does not repeat. Then third, in encourage all employees to search for ways to improve the production for the. So something ऐसा नहीं है. There should always be this feeling that you can improve the process. इससे quality improve करेगा, productivity improve करेगा. It is not a static thing. It is a dynamic process.
Production codes are discouraged so that employee can allocate more of their time to leadership and the improvement of the production process. Many times use team of employee to access quality and after suggestions or continuous improvement. To ensure that quality is maintained, firm periodically evaluate the method used to measure product or service quality.
तो ऐसे ना प्रोडक्शन कोटा करने, अब उतना प्रोडक्शन प्रोड्यूस कर दिए, उसके बाद तो जल्दी जल्दी कर दिया, फिर बैठ गया. ऐसा नहीं. There should always be this feeling to how to do better and better. In future, you have to improve on your quality, on to the quota which you are producing, to improve on your productivity. And there should always be मेंटेन, एटलीस्ट जो क्वालिटी प्रोड्यूस करे वो मेंटेन हो रहा है, इम्प्रूव हो जाए तो और अच्छा, पर हाँ उससे नीचे नहीं जाना चाहिए.
Productivity factors that boost training. When you think of training, think of the return on investment ROI. You might have to spend money and time to offer additional training to employees, but you'll make the money back and then some with employee that can work more efficiently. Well trained employee can work faster with less waste or errors, meaning higher output in less time.
तो पहला चीज तो ट्रेनिंग है.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you want to increase your productivity. Second, yes, read it.
Second is team goal. Work can be pretty uninspiring when there are no defined goals to reach. Ensure the entire team is aware of the goals and make those goals realistic, too low and
Realistic.
realistic, too low, and employees might feel less motivated after reaching an easy goal. Too hard, an employee will feel deflated and stressed. Also incorporate rewards for when the team hits their goal.
हाँ, तो क्या होना चाहिए टीम, बहुत हार्ड भी नहीं होना चाहिए कि दे फील डिफीटेड, एंड इट शुड नॉट बी टू इजी कि बहुत फिर लूज फील करेंगे. तो इट शुड बी रियलिस्टिक, and they should also get certain reward for it if they achieve this within time. Third is working condition.
Make the workspace comfortable and inviting for employees. That could mean choosing an office that uh, plentiful, right, ma'am?
Plentiful.
Plentiful windows, adding in standing desk or outfitting a break room with tons of uh, amenities like coffee, snacks, and comfy sofas.
Working conditions should be such that they feel relaxed. ये नहीं कि स्ट्रेट है, मान लीजिए they need certain time to just have a coffee break or just a few moments to relax on a sofa. So these things should be available to them. So it is not something that they should feel stressful for working hours क्या है 10 to 8 hours. So in this they should feel comfortable and enjoy the work they are doing.
Support. If an employee is struggling with something, listening to their problem and providing swift guidance and understanding can make all the difference. Training plays a role here. Two, if an employee is having a hard time meeting goals due to specific weakness, offering support via training can help them growing their skills.
So they should also, whenever they need support, whether they are not able to fulfill their goals or why they are not able, कुछ नॉलेज में कमी है, कुछ उनको फिजिकल प्रॉब्लम है, वट एवर इट इज, देयर शुड बी समवन टू लिसन टू देयर प्रॉब्लम एंड गिविंग सपोर्ट टू देम सो दैट दे कैन ओवरकम. इससे उनको बिलोंगनेस की फीलिंग भी आ जाती है एंड दे वांट टू डू better in their job. Fifth,
Fair wages and benefit, knowing they are being paid fairly for their work and they can enjoy their healthcare or plentiful vacations time while motivate employee to give their all at work. Competitive pay and benefits help employees feel valued and dedicated to the job.
तो दे शुड गेट, जो भी काम कर रहे हैं दे शुड नॉट फील चीटेड कि हम इससे ज्यादा कमा सकते हैं. दे शुड गेट फेयर वेजेस एंड बेनिफिट्स लाइक हेल्थ केयर बेनिफिट्स है या वेकेशन का टाइमिंग्स हैं. तो द एम्प्लॉय शुड फील मोटिवेटेड, क्योंकि द बेस्ट पार्ट टू इम्प्रूव द प्रोडक्शन इज टू कीप योर एम्प्लॉयज मोटिवेटेड, उनको सेटिस्फाइड रखो. तो और सब चीजें जो हैं तो अपने आप ही हो जाएंगे. टेक्नोलॉजी.
Technology can be improve productivity immensely. It can be used to improve learn communication through collaborative tools like a project management app, track inventory, and automate monotonous tasks to the so the team can focus on more pressing issues.
बहुत सारी चीजों को जो मंडेन थिंग्स है टेक्नोलॉजी कैन टेक केयर ऑफ, सो यू कैन इम्प्रूव. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल जो मंडेन टास्क है, द टेक्नोलॉजी टेक्स केयर ऑफ, यू कैन focus more on analytical things, think of improving how innovative way of doing things and things like that. So technology is there to help you in achieving more and more. Last is a conclusion.
Conclusion: productivity object is managing to achieve maximum by investing the minimum, since P is equals to O upon my I, and one should try to get the optimized value of P to keep pace with the tough competitive business and environment. Operation management is the overseeing and design of production, manufacturing, and distribution of product and services, particularly to make sure all the processes are moving as efficiently as possible. Productivity itself is how efficiently inputs like business process result in output of goods and services. This operation team is in places to ensure the company is running at peak efficiency.
तो सी हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज प्रोडक्टिविटी, क्योंकि वही तो मेन गोल है, तुम्हारा क्या प्रोडक्टिविटी है, क्योंकि इसी को इफ यू डू इट यू कैन achieve the maximum only if you are doing it effectively and efficiently. वेस्टेज कम हो, राइट डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हो, ये नहीं कि गलत डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हो फिर वहां से देखा कि गलत हो गया, देन यू आर कम बैक एंड देन अगेन यू स्टार्ट डूइंग इट ऑल ओवर अगेन, तो बहुत टाइम एंड मनी इज वेस्टेड. So productivity is the main focus on which the operation should rely its focus on and do according to the objective and the goals which they have set. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have any other question, you can ask me.
Yes, ma'am. I can.
Okay.
If I can ask you in next class, ma'am.
Just now you don't have any question.
Right now, no, ma'am. I want to learn deeply now in weekdays.
Okay, okay. You go through the. I'll send this
PPT.
And you go through it. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the next class.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night.